I cut ties with my friend since middle school because of her unhealthy obsession with my boyfriend. A lot of things have happened in the past that has made me rethink our entire friendship, but the last straw for me was when we took a trip with my boyfriend Kin, and because of what she considered to be PDA, him giving me a bite of his food that she made for him and her without making any for me, she started crying, complaining, and when later confronted about her unstable reaction and me setting a simple boundary, this caused her to have a complete meltdown to the point her family had to get involved. Me and Kin were bombarded with messages from her mom, sister, and even her dad saying that we called her to start drama. I went over her house with Kin to talk to her mom because I am very close with her. Her dad was lurking in the background, not really saying anything except for "I'm going to stay out of it." I definitely think her mom, Vivian, told him to back off, but he was looking at Kin sideways like Kin was the one in the wrong. Her mom looked exhausted and I felt really bad about it. She asked Kin to see the messages that Kayla has been sending him and she looked scared to read it. I can't blame her because it was bad. I was honestly so confused and upset he'd not tell me how odd Kayla was being to him, but I couldn't be mad at him since he was the one having to deal with this alone. He wasn't saying anything for the sake of keeping the peace. The text messages showed an entirely different side of Kayla that I didn't even know she had. The history went back to about 5 years. In the beginning it wasn't so bad. Normal things like, "Hi Kin, I can't find where Anna and you are. Where are you guys sitting?" This was at a play and many of the messages were like this, because we were always hanging out together, but I could tell there was a switch in behavior when she started to know him better. At first she was really awkward around him and just wanted it to be the two of us, until they found a common interest and she started bombarding him with messages like, "Oh Kin, I heard you like, oh, who's your favorite character?" He'd respond like, "I like Levi. Who is yours?" Then this would turn into huge informational paragraphs, which was not uncommon because she'd used to do the same thing with me. Everything within that subject stayed in that subject until about 3 years in. She started talking about me. She would text him that she didn't like how I yelled at him one day and hit him with rolled up paper and how he deserved better, and I know exactly what day this was, and for context we were just play fighting. He responded with, "Lol, it's fine, haha. If I don't make dinner right before she gets home she'll lock me in the basement, so be right back." By the way, he was being sarcastic. These were jokes. She takes it literal and started talking about things she didn't like about me, like how I interrupted her while talking or I'm too touchy with him, and worst of all how clingy I'd been with her family around the time my mom passed away. This is when he just stopped responding to her and she'd text him, "Can you respond? Please don't ignore me." A month later she's text, "Sorry, me and Anna had some drama," and text him how she's so happy we are all friends again. Then she'd vent about how people find her annoying and he'd respond with, "Sorry to hear that. Okay, alright, cool, good for you." In the last 2 years the messages got disturbing and she'd started sending messages like, "You made me blush when you helped with my seatbelt. What is your shower routine? You always smell nice. Our zodiac signs show we match 70%. That's weird blushing. I'm taking a bath right now. How many kids would you want to have?" To which he responded, "Me and Anna thought about having 2 kids someday," and she didn't respond for 2 weeks. He gave very monotone and dry replies that it was almost painfully cringeworthy to read. I'm not going to get too descriptive, but she has sent him very long paragraphs about her mental health, how she's lonely, how she feels like people give up on her, how life wouldn't feel worth living if he wasn't a part of her life, and it was a very one-sided conversation, like she was using him as her personal diary. It was all overwhelming and honestly gave me chills because it was disturbing. Her sister Karen also saw these messages and had no comments. After they all saw the messages, Kin went back to the car to wait for me because Kayla's dad was still side-eyeing him. Her mom let me talk to Kayla in her room. When I walked in, she couldn't look me in the eye and I could tell she'd been crying. We both just sat down in silence for a very long time. She forced out an "I'm so sorry" in a quiet voice. I could tell that if I didn't talk nothing would be said, so I told her that she didn't have to lie about how it all went down, and if I was so much of a bother and obstacle in her way, why didn't she tell me this sooner so I didn't waste my time trying to make sure we stay connected. She cried and said she loves me and understands she has not been a good friend, but as soon as I thought she'd take some accountability she asked me why Kin blocked her and when he's going to unblock her again. She even asked me if he hates her now. When she asked me, her eyes looked like she was in another world and she just started mumbling. This is when I realized she was completely out of it. I felt so freaked out I walked out of her room. She followed me downstairs and me and her mom told her that it's time we acknowledge we aren't the same friends we used to be. I told her to take some time to take care of herself and I gave her a light hug, but she didn't really respond to me. When her mom walked me outside, both me and her started crying. She apologized and told me that she's going to be taking full responsibility and watch over her and that I've been more than a friend, and I'm like family. Her dad told me that it's a shame your friendship had to end over petty little girl drama and boy issues and wished me well. I knew she wasn't mentally stable, but she's not well. She sent me more messages and normally I'd give in to feeling bad for her and sticking around while she gets help, but I think I need help after this. She has not only admitted to me that she's had feelings for Kin since we started dating, but instead of just talking to me about it she's been resentful towards me, and has been making Kin so uncomfortable it almost falls in the range of harassment. I truly do worry about Kayla, but I'm in love with my boyfriend and I can't let him feel like I'd choose her over him. He's been more than supportive, loving, and as for Kayla, she's always been sulky at any good news I receive and would sarcastically say, "Oh, well, good for you. I miss the simple days when we talk about our dreams, our favorite books, movies, and shared the same humor."